I want to mic check. Where is this? Turn this joint down. Because the topics be so real. Not even playing. But basically, today is just gonna start off talking about the theories of, well, not theories, but the situations when it comes to having a child uh, born either in the U.S. or out of the U.S. If you are not a U.S. resident, or if you're not a resident of that country. Something to think about, something to really think about, y'all, because we was just chopping it up talking, but I didn't know, like, it's crazy because in America, if we have a kid in the U.S. by someone who's not a U.S. citizen, then as long as that baby was born here in the U.S., then that baby is considered a U.S. citizen if the father or mother is in fact, a U.S. citizen. No matter if the mother or father um, was a foreigner. But in other countries, if you have a baby in other countries, then the issue would come into play with if you're a U.S. citizen, but you have a baby in another country, and the baby was born in that country, that baby is considered a native of that country, which can cause a whole lot of problems. And I never really sat back and thought about that until today. Actually, I think that's just something to think about. So, twin, when is your Japanese baby going to be delivered? Yeah, I know I'm playing, y'all. Y'all should have seen his face. He's like, hold up, who you talking about? He about to run from the camera. When I looked at him, he looked like he was stunned when I said Japanese baby. Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't know. But I don't know. Just thinking about a whole lot of stuff, man. Like, I mean, I know we say love has no bounds, right? But at the end of the day, it do. You got to make a choice and a decision on what you really want to do with your life when it comes to relationships and all of that. It's something to think about for real. It ain't no joke. At the end of the day, you could be stuck in a whole another country just because your child is there, and you have no way to get your child citizenship. So you got a lot of these people out here having kids and going through all this stuff and all of that, and the some things take place that you're not even expecting to take place. Uh, Excuse me, y'all. I'm kind of tired, but it's just a fact of life that things happen, and sometimes things happen and you can't control them. But I don't know. What would you do, twin, if you was married? And just say you from the U.S. and just say you went to, say, Thailand, or you went to somewhere in Asia, and you end up getting married, and you end up having a baby, and that's just so odd. You had a baby there, and then now you can't bring your baby home because your baby was born there, and even though you're a U.S. citizen, you're not a citizen of that country. So now your child is not even in limbo, just a national resident of that country. You have the rights, but that's crazy because when you get married to somebody like that, you have the rights to commute back and forth to that country or to stay there because of your mate. So what's the situation when it comes to you having a child? That's crazy. That's different. I mean, what you think? Like, I mean, it's just it sounds like a lot of stuff about to pop off with all this what DIE or and all these other requirements and adjustments to illegal immigrant laws and stuff like that. That's going to really affect a whole lot of people that's living abroad that may have kids that want to get their kids here because it's like, okay, you go over there, say you stay a year and you got married or whatever over there. Well, that's different. Well, no, it can't be because if you got married there as a U.S. citizen, then that wife or spouse should be considered able to become a citizen through marriage. But being that that child was born in that country, that would make them a natural citizen of that country. That's difficult. That's a conflict. What you think? Hold on, let me hear this. I'm just y'all. We just sitting here chopping it up on different stuff, and that's just something deep to think about because I never looked at it that way. I never really looked at it as I never really looked at it like that. As far as you being a U.S. citizen, but you are in a foreign country, and just say you got married, or say you didn't get married and you had a child. At the end of the day, you know that baby was born in that country, even though you are a U.S. citizen. Your child doesn't have the right to be a U.S. citizen because it was born in that native country. So how do you think that that would be for like a lot of people that like you said, get married over there, try to spend their life over there, end up having a child, and then when they have that child, even though they're a U.S. citizen, they can't bring their child home, or their child does not have U.S. citizenship.
Yeah, I'm not, man. I mean, I don't know what the laws are, especially now. Like everything has changed so much now with this new administration we have, man. But I don't know. I guess just case by case basis. I mean, if you're in a situation where you can't bring your baby to the United States, then like me personally, then I'm just gonna be in that other country. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, you would have no choice at that
But
point. Yeah,
hopefully there'd be a situation where I can bring the baby back to visit, so the baby can at least know what it's like to be in the states, meet my meet the family and everything, know his grandparents or his or her grandparents. But yeah, I mean the laws have changed so much now with immigration. I really don't know what the laws are. Like I know there's a time when a baby is born in the U.S. then that makes them a citizen, but I don't think that counts now. It just I guess depends on the parents and what their status is. But yeah, if you're in a situation like that, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just case by case basis. But if you can't bring your baby home, then yeah, you just stuck.
that's crazy. I mean, I'm just thinking about like you said, you just have a child, and that child is born in that country, even though you're a U.S. citizen. The child basically saying could never be a U.S. citizen because it was born on foreign soil, born in foreign soil to a United States resident,
Yeah, citizen of the
yeah,
U.S.
citizen
Yeah.
of the U.S. So that's difficult, and and it's crazy because you think of so many different countries. It's like I know it's strength in numbers, and people say it's strength in numbers when you have an economy that's built off of people. And when there's people, there's another tax dollar, there's another bracket, there's more income, there's something else coming to that country. And in certain countries, I'm not saying any names, that they don't want their residents or their citizens to leave.
Hmm.
They feel as if though that's taking money from their economy when they leave. And in particular, in the Eurasian situations, um, they rather you come there and live and spend
Hmm.
and do whatever, so that would increase their economy. Because if and that's why it's so hard for some people to get visas to come here because they want to make it difficult enough that you give up. or that you don't want to do it, or you can't afford to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, it's like you get frustrated, you don't want to deal with it, you're just gonna stay there.
Mm-hmm.
You're never gonna try to leave. Because I've heard some cases where some people put in for their visas and stuff to travel abroad or to come to America, do this and do that. And they take the money for the visa, deny the visa, and never get their money back. So you think of how many times you can try that
Yeah.
and can't afford it as it is, and to try to get that visa, and they take your money
Yeah.
and never give it back.
That's not cheap. That's some money. And
Exactly.
then just to get nothing from it. I mean, how frustrating is that? If you did go through that process, get denied, then you just lost that money. Like, why would you want to try that again? So I mean, I won't understand why people different countries want people to stay there. I mean, spend your money there, increase their economy, right? Why go spend it somewhere else? But you know,
That's the whole point, I guess. At that point, it's like, you know, why did you do it? Like, why did you choose? It's like putting a stipulation or a division on relationships. Like, you can't have a relationship with this person. You can't live there. You can't do this. And if you do have a relationship with the individual, you got to count the cost, because it'll eventually cost you something to
mm-hmm.
either, like you said, bring your child back to the U.S., or for you to get citizenship, or for your wife to fight through immigration or whatever else to prove that you married her and she is now, um, your wife and able to be able to travel to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of ups and downs when it comes to thinking about even having kids in that situation. And
Yeah,
kids is something natural. You would think natural, and it wouldn't be a big issue to get, you know to get rectified to where you're making it make sense.
yeah. I know someone right now is looking to get married, but this individual said that he or she is not going to marry anyone that's from another country because of the situation we have right now with immigration. This person said that he or she don't want to get caught up in any kind of situation where that person may not be legal, but he or she think that person is legal, but end up they're not legal, or they may have a family member. This person don't want to get caught up in any of that kind of stuff. So
Right.
those are decisions you got to make these days. I mean, I guess before there may have been a concern before, but I wasn't. I guess not as much of a concern because the effort to kind of enforce those laws weren't being put forth before. But the way things are now, like that's definitely something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. Like you marry someone that's not right, or if family members don't have things in order, you might be within a situation.
And that's crazy because, like I said, you can't dictate your heart. You can't dictate situations. You can't dictate children. Yeah, man, those things happen. I mean, yeah, you can plan to have children and stuff like that, but within relationships and different situations and things happen or whatever. Now, okay, boom, here comes a child. You can't blame the child for a situation that the parents, you know, put the child in.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, does that child have U.S. citizenship throughout his veins?
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. But that's so odd now because you looking at it from a standpoint of the U.S. Um, you know, they would be granted citizenship, or supposed to be, but these laws, like you said, changing now and stuff like that. But they are supposed to be granted citizenship. Okay, so now, just now thinking about it being in another country and you're a U.S. citizen. So what makes that any different than a foreign country? You get what I'm saying? And these, we're talking about communist countries that take the stand of their citizens are going to remain their citizens, and U.S. is supposed to be free will, or the right to live, or the right to sovereignty, the right for justice, the right for whatever, whatever, right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, if they were born here, what should they be? citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's crazy. So I get it. Like for that to happen, they just like I'm gonna shut it down. If I don't care if they not from here or whatever, whatever, they can't gain citizenship. But guess who's doing that? More so communist countries. So
Yeah.
that's kind of taking some of the so-called liberties away from being able to be free,
Yeah.
or being able to be in a relationship that's not in America, be in a relationship in Russia, uh, 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 Thailand, Japan, Philippines, Laos. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, Brazil, because different cultures in different areas have different ways of viewing that policy. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
quite sure if any child, male or female, was born in that country, you would think it would be dual citizenship. If that child is of an American parent,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if that American parent signs that birth certificate. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what you think about that? How would you think that would play out or should play out, even in a legal sense? Like when it comes to the child that has really no say in how they were conceived or where they were born.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like, I mean, that's common sense if the parents is, whatever country their citizens are, it seems like the child should have free reign to go either or. Like, but we know that it just depends on that country, right? So it seems like if someone from the United States have a baby from someone from Russia or China or anywhere else, then that kid should be have a dual citizenship because they got a parent from one country and a parent from another country. That's where it should be. But we know that's probably not the way it works. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the laws on that kind of thing, but these countries are going to do whatever they feel is best for them. And so if they're in a situation, and I guess a lot of it is deal with the relationship between the countries also. So if you a U.S. citizen and you have a child by someone in a country that's not on good terms with the U.S., then you might run into problems just because of politics. So it's a real slippery slope these days, especially with what's going on with immigration at this point.
So now it's almost like you talking love and politics. Like
Yeah, that's what
these
it
two
is.
things that really shouldn't be mixing,
Mm-hmm.
because where it comes to love, love has no law, no limit.
Nope.
Law shouldn't be based off of politics.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have it. Law is being trickled. Love is being trickled into the law of politics.
Yeah.
So now everything's about money and politics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to grasp the thought of someone loving someone of another nationality, another culture, or whatever, and not able to freely express their feelings, opinions, and love for that individual due to the invisible borders.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say invisible borders because there's no law against love, and love has no law, no limit. So if it has no limit, that means you can love anywhere in the world. Love is universal until you choose not to allow love to take place. So now it's like you can't allow love to take place without losing something. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like without losing a family, without losing a family member, without losing a child. And it's like, okay, you can have a baby here, and now that's even a question mark to citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't you look at that differently when you look at the avenue of other countries that are more so of a communist or dictatorship, and here we supposed to be a free nation, and not getting into politics and stuff, just getting into looking at the scheme of things and how things look. I mean, it doesn't look like you have the free will to marry or talk to or anybody you want. It's more so seems like it's a cut and dry. We're going to do like every other country is doing
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, even with the U.S., there's certain rules. You got to have go through certain procedures to become a citizen. If you don't go through those procedures, then it's kind of up in the air. When they're ready to kick you out, then they have every right to do so. Like, there's people that's been here illegally for years and years.
And that's
And
what
it
I was
really,
gonna say
yeah,
too.
it really didn't matter because nobody was looking for them. No one was enforcing that. But now someone comes along and enforce that, man, you got a situation. So I guess my thing would be you gotta love, you find a woman, a man finds a woman, or a woman finds a man that's of a different citizenship. I mean, you got the right to be with that person, but you also got to know the consequence that might come with it. You know, I
That's a
guess be
deep. That's
prepared
that's a
for it.
deep thought. Really, realistically thinking, because you got all these people that's traveling and doing all of this, and I'm not talking about the senseless ones that's just having babies everywhere and not being safe in their actions and their choices, but actually finding real love or real companionship and end up dating or end up having a baby or whatnot, and they're placed in a situation to where okay, okay, now certain places don't require you to pay child support. That's even scary. And then you got a situation where you can't improve their life or make their life better by bringing them back over to the US if you choose to because of the red tape.
Mhm.
So now you have a situation still that money is still coming back to that country, so to say, because they want to take care of their child, even though they're not there. So now the child can't come, the mama can't come, and you probably can come over there. So guess what? They can't come over here, but you can come over there. So what's
Mhm.
that meaning? Three incomes, or not three incomes, but three times the money being spent in that situation.
Okay. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it's not cool. It's not cool. Actually, it's not cool when you think about it that way. It's like everything I'm keeping in house, everything that's gonna be what it's gonna be here. It's
Mhm.
not leaving,
Yeah.
and that's why some places it's hard for Brazil. It's hard for Brazil to get visas
Mhm.
to come to the U.S. It's hard to get visas for um, other Asian countries, I'll say, to get visas to come to the U.S. I'm at, and I'm quite sure some places like Russia, they don't even want to care. They be like, "Where you going? Huh? Like you probably would never see a visa to come over here if
Get
you
caught
wanted
up.
to." So I mean, I don't know, but the whole point is you got to be, like you said, look at the consequences behind what you look at the consequences behind love. Wow. That's gonna be the joint. Consequences behind love.
Yep. What's most important to you? You know, what's most important? If you love that person, you really love that person, then you just got to be open to the consequences. That person has to leave, then okay. If you can leave with them, then that's what you do. But I mean,
That's deep.
yeah, you got a decision to make. You know.
So the consequences of love. So
Mhm.
basically, y'all, hey, you got it. The consequences of love. You have to make a decision, an executive decision, what you want to do with your life, how you want to proceed. Because at the end of the day, it could leave you in a tricky situation, a tricky and a sticky situation, to
Mhm.
where it either forces you to just monetarily support your family from afar or potentially have to move over to a foreign country to stay because you don't have any other option to get your family here. And it may be a whole lot of red tape for you to jump through, but are you willing to take those sacrifices and those bumps and bruises to get or accomplish what you want to accomplish? And that's US citizenship for your family. So I mean, it could be a bumpy road. So I guess right now, just thinking about it, the choice is yours to make that decision to figure out which way you want to go with it. But meantime, between times, your boy rolling with Rio, got my man Twin here. But it's just real talk. You know, there are there are what I say that was when it comes to love
Consequences.
consequences with even with
Well,
love.
yep.
So it's
Well, love and
the
politics.
consequences of love, love and politics. Wow, that's crazy. The consequences of love. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here first. So when y'all chime in, let me know what you think. What's your thoughts on the new laws or laws that are coming or the topic that was talked about, and just tell me what y'all think. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later.